Welcome to Lunchtime Chat with Linda and Kat. I'm Linda Partyke, and this is my partner agent, Kat Brown.
Hi, everyone. We're excited to be here and share some information about the real estate market. We're both agents in Northern Virginia, work from the northern counties all the way down through Caroline County with both buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm. And renters on occasion.
And renters on occasion.
That's
yes,
right,
absolutely.
Exactly. So our topic today is what to look for in a real estate agent when you're starting to either buy or sell.
Yes. It's a loaded question, right?
It is a loaded question.
I think that one thing that really brings this home is I had a closing last week, and we were at the settlement table, and I had a first-time buyer, lovely, lovely woman, and the attorney that was there was talking about how he was very flattering and said that I was a good agent, which I always appreciate.
Yes.
But he said, you know, when you buy homes and sell homes so little, like we do it all the time, so we don't think about it. We know exactly what to look for. But a lot of people only do it a few times in their lives. And so they don't know. They don't even know what to look for. They don't even know if they had a good agent or not because
Correct.
They don't know what the difference is. So hopefully this conversation helps us clarify that a little bit, helps us tell you what to think about and what to ask when you're interviewing your agents.
Yeah. I think one of the most important things is chemistry. I think, you need to really feel a connection with that person because there's going to be moments in this transaction that could turn ugly. And you need to have...
There could be disappointing moments.
There could
multiple times.
Exactly. And so you need to have that camaraderie. You need to have this feeling of, a connection.
Yes.
And then I think that, I'm not really sure how you're going to find this out, but I think ethics are really important.
Yes.
Finding an agent who is ethical and will go through the transaction maintaining that ethics. We have run into agents in the past that have stepped out of their lane a little bit. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that definitely does happen. I think one thing that you can look for, because I was thinking about this, was, a lot of agents, and I've had agents call me and say they're really upset because they lost a commission because the buyer had to back out of a deal for some reason or other. You know what? It's disappointing. Sure, you lose a commission, but your focus should be on the needs of that buyer and not just on making money.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think one thing that I've noticed when I've had clients come back is they say, whether they really appreciate that it wasn't just about a paycheck, right?
It was a transaction
about
for you.
Meeting their needs, making sure. A home is a big deal. Selling or buying a home is a big deal. You have made memories there, or you're about to make memories there. It's one of the biggest transactions of your entire life. And the focus should be on making sure that the client is in the right place. Because I know Linda agrees with me. We don't want to get down the road a year and you hate your house.
Oh, gosh, no. And that does happen on occasion.
And usually, hopefully, it's because you didn't really know what you wanted.
Exactly. And not because of the agent.
And you got there and you're really like, oh, gosh, I really don't like living this close to people. I need more space or something like that. You know what I mean? So,
or to a major highway or whatever.
So I think looking at reviews is a good way because it's hard to know with ethics. Or hopefully an agent, if you want, ask them, do you have past clients that would be willing to talk to me?
Exactly. Referrals,
yeah.
References.
References, and because I have clients I can send people to, and they'll talk to them on the phone about their experience with me.
Me too.
That's the way you could do it with ethics. But you make a very good point.
I think another thing to look at is volume doesn't always translate into quality.
It doesn't.
So you could find someone who's done 300 homes, but they're not any better qualified to be an agent than they were on the first home or the 300th home.
I think we look at the busyness that comes with volume, right?
Yes.
So if you do so many transactions in a year that you're overwhelmed, how do you give each client detailed attention to make sure that you've covered all their bases when you're flying by the seat of your pants?
Right.
So there needs to be balance. You definitely want someone that does transactions, that knows the market, that knows what might come up, but not so many that they're overwhelmed.
Correct.
Right.
And you brought something else up that's really important is knowing the market. We do run into agents, like I won't step out of my market, my trade area.
Right.
I will find another agent.
If I feel uncomfortable, I'll say, this is not my expertise.
Yep.
Can I refer you to someone? If you don't want me to, we'll figure something out. But generally, if it's really out of my market, I'm like you.
Yeah, I'll find somebody else who can do a better job servicing the client, either buyer or seller. Because it's just a lot of work. When you're doing selling, we need to go to the house a lot. Or we need to check in with the buyer a lot. And if they're an hour and a half away,
you don't want to give them bad advice either. And for me, I go about an hour from my home base being Stafford, Virginia. So I go about an hour in a circular area because that's, you know, where I'm comfortable, I'm familiar with those areas, I travel those areas a lot. But if it's beyond that, I can't give you good advice about what the market's like because I don't work there. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah,
So,
we don't know what the trends are. We don't know what's going to go up, what's going to go down, or what, you know, what's selling and why they're selling at that rate or whatever. Agents need to stay in their wheelhouse. Let's put it that way.
Or even this, we just came out of a really competitive market. Many of you know during COVID, the market was crazy, right? You don't even know what it takes to win it. Can I get a home inspection or not? We're still a little bit in that stage, right? Can I avoid only home inspection, or can I actually get a home inspection for repairs? You don't know if you don't live in that area and know what's the norm still in the situation.
Right, that's exactly right. What agents are committing to and what agents are letting go of, and to make their bids more competitive. Because when you're in a situation where you're competing against 12 or 13 different offers, you know, there's just not, it's intense, very intense.
It's intense.
And there's just not a lot of things that you can negotiate on within the contract.
Very little. It's really how much can you give in that situation,
right? Right. I did have a contract once, an offer. We were competing against, we didn't get it because the people who got it gave the sellers 2 weeks free in their timeshare and paid $20,000 to move them and to pay for all of their hookups for electricity and everything.
That is not what I've heard before. I've heard of the free post-settlement occupancy, more commonly known as rent back.
Right.
But 2 free weeks in your timeshare, that's
Oh, people were giving all kinds of stuff. Okay, so back to the topic again. Finding an agent. And my recommendation also would be to interview several. Because a lot of people tend to go with like maybe their mom's recommendation because it's somebody at church who sells. And you know, again,
may not be a good fit for you.
May not be a good fit for you.
And it also depends on what their experience is in, right? Someone may not be, if you're an investor and they have no experience working with investors, if you're a first-time buyer and they don't really work with a lot of first-time buyers and know that information, that's important things to know. So here's some questions you can ask, right?
Right.
So for like me, I work with investors that buy investment properties for rentals and some multi-unit properties. So that's something that I have some experience in dealing with, right? But
I love working with first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
And they love working with me.
First-time home buyers.
Just being humble. Because, you know, I'm very patient. I did spend some part of my life teaching. So, you know, I just can explain things, I think. And I will explain things over and over and over again until they get it.
Most people are going to need it multiple times. Yeah. Like, I mean, like you, when I work with clients and they're like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, this is a lot of information. I know when I have my first buyer consult, when I sit down with a client for the first time and they're buying, and I go through everything they need to know. Because if you've bought in other states, it is very different than buying in like Virginia or vice versa if you're somewhere else. And even it can vary from areas. So like I had a family member that bought down south in Roanoke, and they sent me the contract because they wanted me to review it. I had referred them to an agent down there because I don't go that far south. It's a long ways away. And I looked at that contract and I said, I know that we took the same real estate exams, but this is nothing like the contracts we work with up here. Right. You're going to need to call your agent.
I just got mine from Norfolk. And I had to read the whole thing 2-3 times because it was so different than ours. And
so that's a big thing. It can vary quite a bit. So sitting down and talking to them about what they can expect in that area and being willing to repeat it, because it is a lot of information.
It is a lot of information, especially if you haven't done it before. You know, just the financing alone and directing them in that direction, or, you know, going through the home inspections or the appraisals, or it's a lot. Inspections and appraisals will be topics at a later date.
And other questions you can ask. So we talked about experience. Yeah, you want them to have some experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean, this is the same as when they have a lot of clients for a lot of transactions a year versus not. Just because someone's been in the business 30 years does not mean they're better than someone that's been in it 2 years.
Exactly.
It is, there's a level of commitment that and drive that not everybody is going to have on the same level.
Right.
And you want to look for that.
I think too in the beginning, maybe the first year or two, agents tend to rely more on their brokers.
Who have tons of experience. So they've got a wealth of information.
Yeah, or other agents.
Or other agents, like in our office,
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, a younger or newer agent is really going to have more strategic experience and background behind them.
As long as they've got a good team behind them. Right?
Well, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So brokerage, you know, it's going to depend. Like our brokerage, great team behind all our agents. People can call you, they can call me, they can call, or if they can't get a hold of our broker who's got a long time, we'll just say a long time in the business.
Right.
So that, and ask any question. And that's the great thing is that they've
Mhm.
got, everyone's got each other's backs.
Yes.
So they'll give them any info. They've got all my experience, all our brokers' experience,
Yep.
and all of Linda's experience
Yep.
on top of what experience they've been gaining.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't always happen in every brokerage. I mean, we would like it to, but it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
We just happen to be very, very lucky.
We do.
And our administrative assistant is phenomenal.
Great office, great brokerage, Century 21 Redwood people. How about marketing? Thinking about marketing. Okay, y'all have seen this. I know they've all seen this. You're looking at houses on wherever you go to look at the house, Zillow, Redfin, wherever. And you come to this house, it's like, I don't know, $700,000. And the photos don't look that great because the agent took them with their cell phone.
That is very, very true.
I still see this.
Yeah.
I still see this.
Yeah. My giveaway, what I always know that the agent took it is when you're walking through the house via the pictures and there's dirty dishes in the sink, the toilet seats are up.
The toilet seats are up. That
laundry, okay, these were not professional photos.
The lighting can make a difference, right? So one thing that is important is ask them how they do their marketing. Do they bring a professional in that can, professional photographer in, do professional brochures? Are they going to come beforehand and multiple times and help you go through your, they're not going to help you clean your house necessarily, but they're going to tell you what needs to be done. And then they'll show up again and say, move a few things around because it will stage it better.
Right.
Those are important things to help get it out there. And then how do they advertise, right? Other than just slapping it in the MLS, that's great and all. But in today's world, you need to do a little bit more.
Right, you do.
Yeah.
Yep, and regardless of, like you said, whether we're in the MLS, which is considered advertising.
Right.
But it could be direct mail, it could be Facebook, it could be many
Social
options,
media.
social media, and it's not screamingly
open houses,
Yeah.
which are very popular again.
Yeah, open houses.
They used to not be. We barely get people now. Everyone loves to go to open houses again.
Yeah, and a broker's open.
Yep.
Which is when your listing agent invites brokers in the area to come and walk through the house and give you feedback on the house itself, the price, all that stuff. So brokers opens and then regular open houses, they're all becoming very important.
Yep. Does your agent communicate? Because this is a big one, and I think a lot of these things you need to go to past reviews, look them up online, Google them, look at their Google reviews, look at Realtor.com reviews, see what the reviews are. So I've had people come to me, they've used agents before me, and one of their biggest concerns was like no communication.
Yeah.
People would show the house, they'd never hear what the person thought.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing to ask them how they intend to give feedback to you, what their communication is going to be like, how often you can expect to hear from them about how the showings are going and what people are saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, and how many showings?
How many
what the traffic
showings,
is like.
What the traffic's like,
Yeah.
and what the thoughts are, and what the feedback. I mean, a lot of us send surveys out to every agent that shows their house, and not everybody fills it out, but we have their numbers. We can check in with them and try to get a response. But they're going to get some feedback.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's about, are they passing that on to you? Yeah.
Yeah. It tends to be slightly a little more negative than positive.
Yeah.
Once you really love it and fall in love with it, they're the ones who put the offers in. They don't
They
do
are.
the feedback. So, we just tend to get a little bit more on the negative side.
We do. So you take it with a grain of salt, but at least you can say it's knowing why people aren't putting offers in. So you have an idea
Correct.
about what's keeping it from selling at that time.
Yes.
And if you can do anything about it. Some stuff you can't do anything about,
Right.
It's like floor plan, location. You can't change that.
Correct.
But some stuff potentially you could, right? So it's about knowing what the feedback is.
Yep. So there we have it, just look around. I mean, talk to a couple different people.
Talk to 2, 3. I would definitely say, obviously, we're Century 21 Redwood here in Virginia. Great name brand recognition, great resources because it's such a big brand. But do consider the brokerage you're hiring. That's something you need to take into consideration. Something to consider is your agent a full-time agent or are they a part-time agent? A part-time agent, are they getting the training or are they working a daytime job and then rushing to show you a house as this little bit of side income? Is this a side hustle for them or is this what they do for a living? I think that's the most important thing to consider.
I do too. I absolutely, you're right. That's right.
And contract changes, new rules coming out, how the market shift, because we train all the time. We have a bunch of classes that we take. And so we have the classes that are required that we take, every year or so as an agent. But also we go to meetings and trainings in the daytime because this is our job. This is what we do.
I would say don't you think that we do some sort of training at least once a week?
Yeah.
It could be in a sales meeting where, we're going over, changes in the market. Twice a year, our forms change. So January and June,
we have trainings on that.
We have trainings on that. We go through trainings like today, wills, trusts, and estates.
Yep.
So that's really important that someone, even if they do 1 or 2 transactions a year, that they stay current. And like I said, you need somebody who's full-time.
We do Zoom trainings during the day. Oh,
Yep.
Zoom, the other great blessing from the one. I don't know if that's a
Yes,
blessing from COVID or not, but I feel like it's a blessing from COVID that we all do Zoom now.
Yeah. I have one more little story before we close out.
Okay.
I recently went on a new business pitch. It's the buyer-seller one that you.
Oh, yes.
I went
That's a good question.
on a new business pitch and had a great connection with the homeowner. And I was supposed to be there maybe an hour, and I was there probably 3. And we just chatted and hung out. We had a great time. We were laughing and all this other stuff. And then she didn't hire me. It's a little shocking.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that she gave for not coming with me, selecting me as her agent, was because I handled both buyers and sellers. And she felt that she needed an agent who really specialized in sellers because that would sell her property faster for a higher price. And that isn't the case. A terrible ideas, right? Go ahead.
I was going to say, you want someone that does a little bit of both. Ask the question, but a better way to put it, and I've had people ask that, is what percentage of your clients are buyers and what percentage are sellers? Because you want someone that's experienced with both. Definitely, if you're going to sell your house, you want someone that's experienced selling homes because they know a little bit more about how to prep for that and do that. But you want someone that has buyers.
Right, because we know what the buyers are looking for.
You know what the buyers are looking for. You're out there looking. You're seeing a lot of other houses in person, so you see what's out there.
Yep.
And
what your competition is.
And what people want.
Yep, exactly. So, I think a balanced experience of both.
Much better lister if you know what a buyer's looking for.
I think it just makes you a better all-around agent.
Yeah.
If you do both sides, I think that rates right up there is probably one of the top 5 characteristics you need in a good agent. On that note, I think we'll just sign off.
Yep. As always, these are the opinions of Linda and me, Kat. And so if you want to talk to a professional, please ask a professional, ask your agent. But these are our opinions.
Just conversations, not
just conversations, right? Go to the right authority if you have specific questions. You need to ask somebody then. But that's all for now. We'll see you later.
We'll see you next time.